Invasion. Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-pop mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging chops without Moroccan shields, industry demonic, throw reversing spokes and stopping wheels, coffin fields empty, buried in the battlefields, working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields. King Alfred Bruisem, love a mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing, minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing, don't even have a job but they get you for tax evasion, hot like a frying pan, crying fam lying men, use gadgets firemen, no loyalty just buying friends, no credit debt slaves, walking over paved graves, enslaved, enraged, marriage to death prearranged, Mike Sufi Genie, bomb tracks bikini, stupid niggas call my fez bucket hat when they see me, but won't ask a thing or drink the water that I bring. But when the Pope comes, they're kissing on his ring. They rather drink a rapper's flow from the black fountain. Piper got the dead lined up in the thousands. Confusion with illusions, infusion with sorcery. Won't give up my birthright no matter what they offer me. Invasion. Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-pop mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging chops without Moroccan shields, industry demonic, throw reversing spokes and stopping wheels, coffin fields empty, buried in the battlefields, working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields. King Alfred Bruisem, love a mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing, minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing, don't even have a job but they get you for tax evasion, hot like a frying pan, crying fam lying men, use gadgets firemen, no loyalty just buying friends, no credit debt slaves, walking over paved graves, enslaved, enraged, marriage to death prearranged, Mike Sufi Genie, bomb tracks bikini, stupid niggas call my fez bucket hat when they see me, but won't ask a thing or drink the water that I bring. But when the Pope comes, they're kissing on his ring. They rather drink a rapper's flow from the black fountain. Piper got the dead lined up in the thousands. Confusion with illusions, infusion with sorcery. Won't give up my birthright no matter what they offer me. No deal. Push the red button, I'm going home. Close my eyes, meet Yasanel in Vendome. The fire that we put on Rome, make their walls shake. Islamism grand chic, not spelled like shake. Open minds, not scarred on when you enter my zone. I wouldn't call it murder when I snap the neck of my clone, trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Beat his face to tartar, no making me a martyr. Third eye enlarger, aura is my armor. When I plant a seed in man's soil, rhyme farmer. Use the alma rap sorta like an almanac. Keep listening to sleepless hip-hop insomniac. Moorish MC, call me that acquiesce, don't call back, just fall back. Any rapper after 95, all whack. Their flow just trickles like drops on icicles. Rappers need training wheels on their rhymesicles. Keep people's mind pickled in a lost realm. When it comes to Moorish MCs, I'm at the helm. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Beat his face to tartar. You know, making me a martyr. Third eye enlarger. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Beat his face to tartar. You know, making me a martyr. Third eye enlarger. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Invasion.
Raka! North Star! That way. The North Star's that way. Canaanland boys. Read off, we pay every day. Okay. Uplift the fee cause we all pays. We enforce the law and we obey. Forefathers from before is still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Universal laws in more ways. Read 4 chapters, receive it 4 ways. Great divine love rules our verse. Before I circle blocks, man, I circle semis first. Raka! North Star! That way. The North Star's that way. Read off, we pay every day. Uplift the fee cause we all pays. We enforce the law and we obey. Forefathers from before is still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Universal laws in more ways. Read 4 chapters, receive it 4 ways. Great divine love rules our verse. Before I circle blocks, man, I circle 7s first. You bust the image, but your rhymes hurt. You clear 13 disrespected earth. Love, but it's all in God's plan. Today's mathematics don't judge a man. Unity of life, embodiment of truth. I'm responsible for every deed, cause I seen the proof. No, but true. X, do I have to draw it out for you? Cause nationality is not a color I can use. Gerry Spruce, standing on my square, even without shoes. On the highest authority, spirit of blue. Marcus Coffee, whirlwind times 2. The world's in the wind when the trumpet blew.
Stand up, go into your bathroom. If you got a big floor to ceiling, cut the light on and stare and take a good hard look at yourself. You are the worst government, you know, and it took me a long time to get to understand that concept. I self-law am master. If I can govern myself, if I can govern my household, that's what I should be doing. Why should I walk out of my door and then leave everything that I know about myself in the house to go out and adopt something that I have no knowledge thereof? It makes no sense. So we need to stop asking that question. I ask myself this question: if not me, then who?
Death and wisdom, my friends, intelligent creatures, guardians of sacred knowledge, Olmec features, secrets of the afterlife, manifest the present day. Dirty moors and scoundrels lose their heads in a pleasant way. Deceit and deception, negative past thoughts, keeps awareness on point. Spirit messages never off. Inner realizations, encounter the higher selves. Next plane existence explains my consistence. Without a foe, you never know, so past most resistant. Divinity, my twin flame, side chick and mistress, metaphysic, kabbalistic, almaroc mystic, patriarch, papistics, make my thoughts sadistic, so indigenous, call me Americanistic, invoking the ancestors, Saracen cryptic, suns on rotation, flows ecliptic, shatter all illusions, reveal the realistic, sitting in the dark, holding the light marvelous, recognize the artifice, skin so carbonous, hair so antenna, I feel them from Vienna, myriad of virtues, lessons, in reptilian henna, enlightenment seekers won't find it in mainstream. Focus as a laser, stay balanced like a beam. Not even a gymnast. Whenever I flip this, as above, so below, get out when within this. Don't think I'm a slave, cause I speak in English. Drew, I'll leave the water, watch your flames get extinguished. Living in your higher, lower self is relinquished. Reputation of master teachers, call it distinguished.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law, make civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gate Cemetery, February the 4th day. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law make civil literal lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm sorbet, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. Had no but I lay in plain sight, but people still can't see it. So the snake's still showing up, stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astroplane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finish him.
Morris Omar, key man or oracle, using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical, lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic, facts slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic, calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved, or cut like a close shave, drowned in my brain waves, squashed by heat waves, activating Kundalini, Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini, Selassie I in exile, reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real, all I see is false evidence, DA are feminists, stomped on by elephants, more like more prejudice but want Moorish benefits, when you feel the cold magnetic resonance, Apis horns of the sacred book all maleficent, great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence, ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again, use energy right, not put spell effects on men, wandering the earth plane with no they live shades, keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades, it's been decades since Christian crusades, not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets, holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday, war ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
It's Love Wars. Some quick slaps. Just some quick slaps. Just some quick slaps. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Free rise of the Moors. Islam to all. Honors to the Prophet. Oh yeah. So we don't forget. Don't get to put the plug in there. Don't forget. The mother is about to go virtual. And it's pretty much over. So we'll leave that at that. rvbaypublications.com. Thursday, September 9th, 7:30 p.m. RV Bay Introduction to Virtual Class Meetings. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Just, just wait to see what happens. Should be good though. Should definitely be good. See what they're giving you for free that these 10,000 people aren't giving you. But today, we just want to talk on the art of stealing human rights. Extracts from a speech given by Gerry Gambill at a conference on human rights at Tobique Reserve in New Brunswick, August 1958. In this speech, he warned Native people about how society goes about taking away the human rights of Native people. In this speech, he warned Native people about how society goes about taking away the human rights of Native people. If you think he's not talking about native people all over the world, and you think he's talking about some 2-cent Indians that live on a reserve, you're tripping. And you better open your ears if you think you're Negro, black, colored, African, Nuwapian, NOI, 5%er, Rastafarian, Black Power, Caribbean, West Indian, any of the fictions, slave, any of the fictions. You might want to open your ears. Because if you don't know by now, you black people, you black guys, black women and all this, all you are the indigenous people, if you didn't know. And they lied, said he came over here on some ship or whatever. Pretending like you're something that you're not. And Gerry Gambill came up and told them to their face how their rights are going to get stolen from them. How it's going to get stolen. Do you mind? This is why we're yelling at the Negro, black, colored people or whatever. Because remember, you talk about, you want rights and all that stuff, right? Okay, so the people who have your position call themselves natives and black Indians and whatever. They're on the indigenous side. They're not on the side of the slave ship side. They're on the side of we've been in this land and all that. Right. All of them already know that at least they're from this side. All the slave people need to get on board. Accept the reality. You didn't come over here on some ships from anywhere. You're in your own land. Maybe if you treat this like you're from here, then you would act better. But then on the other hand, we see some of you people's homes and your house sucks. So we already know what you're going to do to the empire if we give you the stuff to do. You have to handle your own stuff. So this is for the people who cry for human rights. You know, we have nothing to do with this. We're Moors. We got Zodiac Constitution. We got all this other stuff. We're not even concerned. But you should be very concerned. If you don't have a nationality and you think it doesn't matter what we call ourselves and all that stuff, you should be concerned. Because the same thing that they did to these 2-cent Indians in order to subjugate them, they're doing that to you at the same time, under different names. But maybe, since they're snitching, right, Gambill, snitching about what's going on. This is what they're gonna do. Whether he had the manifest, whether he was at the meeting or whatever, he let them know what they're gonna do, and then they did everything that he said they're gonna do. They did everything. And then you see it playing out today. And then when you just tilt your head a little bit, you see the Negro, black, colored people going through the same stuff that the indigenous so-called people are going through. Same conditions. But then they're not the same. They're different people. So this is how they did it. The art of denying Indians their human rights. and then just replace Indian with Negro, black, colored, Nuwapian, NOI, whatever. You just stick the name in there. This how they lost all their stuff. And they just want to sit around and debate Moors. Right? The art of denying Indians their human rights has been refined to a science. The following list of commonly used techniques will be helpful in burglar proofing your reserves and your rights. Gain the Indians' cooperation. It is easier to steal someone's human rights if you can do it with his own cooperation. Sound familiar? Negro, black, colored, whoever's? Nuwapian guys, sound familiar? Gain the cooperation of gain it. Gain it means you're giving it up. If they're gaining, obviously you're in the minus. If they're gaining. What are they gaining? This has been refined to a science. This is not some nigger stuff. Go on the stage and we're going to do lectures and talk about white people. This is not that. This is their master talking to them. Their master who snitched, telling them what's up. To their face. No different than master teacher right now. Go on people's platform, tell them to their face that they're a traitor. And then they miss it because they're looking for something else. Make him a non-person. Human rights are for people. Convince Indians, remember, replace that with Negro, black, colored, Nuwapian, NOI, and all the different organizations, groups, whatever that our people claim. That has nothing to do with nationality. Put them in this thing with Indians. Right? Replace it. Convince Indians their ancestors were savages, that they were pagan, that Indians were drunkards. Make them wards of the government. Make a legal distinction, as in the Indian Act, between Indians and persons. Write history books that tell half the story. That was number one. First thing, off the bat, make him a non-person. Make him. How'd they make him be a non-person? Might have been threat, duress, coercion. Could have been anything. You're gonna make him do it. Obviously, somebody's hands have to get dirty if we're gonna make somebody do something. If Moors had to make people be Moors, it would be a problem. Because it seems like our people don't want to be Moors. So in order for them to be Moors, and Moors have the opportunity to make them be that, it's gonna be physical. Because we've been talking for 100 years. We've been showing and proving for 100 years that this is where it's at for the redemption of all of our people and ultimately the world. Like, we know we have it. And we have to make you be Moors. All we need to do is find one and put that on TV. That if you're not Moors, this is what's happening to you when you bump into Moors. People be Moors immediately. All we need is one. And put it on the news. That we're handling the Negro problem. Since you guys don't want to do it, let us deal with it. See how fast people will be Moors. When the law is, we're going to cut your hand off if you do something crazy with your hands. We don't want fingers and nails. We want arms. We want shoulders. Because you have to be an example. And this is the exact thing that they did with the Indians and the Negro blacks, whatever like that, made them the example for all the others to say, you better stay in your position and be a slave to us. You better be our ward. What the people don't know is that they have this thing refined to a science. So they didn't even do anything. They just sat back and waited. They just sat back and waited. And knew when to make their move. But stuff's over because, you know, all the secrets are out and all that stuff. So they can't hide it anymore. They can't be hidden. It's too... Pressure cookers bust open. You can't do anything. But again, the science is so refined that it's in these people's face and they don't see it. So they're still not. So, like we always say, we're looking to find the one or two out there. You see all those thousands of millions of pods and they plucked 8 people out of it or whatever. And those are the ones who saved everybody because everybody else is in a pod sleep. It's the exact same thing. Once they could get you to make yourself a non-person, all they gotta do is just sit back. And what they do, they use all your nigger leaders to make you a person. Just name it. Go to King Alfred Plan, read all the infiltrated organizations, all of them, and then on top of them, if you fast track King Alfred Plan to today, and you put all the other names of groups and organizations or whatever that are infiltrated, and their duty is to keep the people black, and as soon as Morris comes up, everybody wants to debate something. But they weren't debating anything else. They weren't debating anything else. As soon as Morris comes up, though, and again, that fictitious position, just like the Indians, that they want to be tribes. They want to be everything except a nationality. And if you're in the Americas, which is part of the Moroccan Empire, there's only one nationality for you to claim. There's no other nationality for you to claim. If you claim anything else, you're the foreigner. Because this is the Moroccan Empire. Atlantis is right over there. It just looks like islands right now, but that's Atlantis right there. It's not gone anywhere. It's right there. It's underwater. That's what's left. Atlantis is right there. Mu is right over there. Oh, speaking about,
I asked him about the Moors in the Philippines, and yeah, could you just tell me about the Moors in the Philippines?
The Moors, or we call them the Moros,
Okay.
are people who are in the Philippines before there was a Philippines. So before the Spanish people came to the Philippines.
Yeah, from the Philippines, and that's present what I see. Yeah. So I asked him about the Moors in the Philippines, and yeah, could you just tell me about the Moors in the Philippines?
The Moors, or we call them the Moros,
Okay.
are people who are in the Philippines before there was a Philippines. So before the Spanish people came to the Philippines, they have a sultanate or tribal community in the Philippines. And the known leaders during that time, the more Islamic leaders are Humabon, Magat Salamat.
Yeah, from the Philippines, and that's present what I see. Yeah. So I asked him about the Moors in the Philippines, and yeah, could you just tell me about the Moors in the Philippines?
The Moors, or we call them the Moros,
Okay.
are people who are in the Philippines before there was a Philippines. So before the Spanish people came to the Philippines, they have a sultanate or tribal community in the Philippines.
Hold on, I thought the nigger debater people, every time they bring up Moors, they bring up Sultan and they start talking about over there, Morocco and all this stuff. I never talk about the Philippine Sultanate and that they have sultans over there and call them a fraud. Why didn't they attack the Moros of the Philippines who know that they're not Filipino, who know that they're Moors, who know that they were around before there was a Philippines? Just like Moors know that we've been around before there was a Turtle Island. Because it can't be a continent and an island at the same time. That's a fiction. Everybody knows, from the part of the non-person, making sure that you are at least a natural person. And then once you're a natural person, that you're tied to a nation. And that you have a government, and then they say that they had their sultanate. Isn't that what Moors do by having officials? By having a vizier? By having an adept? By having a grand whatever? Isn't that the same thing that they're doing over there? So doesn't that mean it's the same people? Don't they wear fezzes over there? Keep playing. Keep playing yourself.
Yeah, from the Philippines, and that's present what I see. Yeah. So I asked him about the Moors in the Philippines, and yeah, could you just tell me about the Moors in the Philippines?
The Moors, or we call them the Moros,
Okay.
are people who are in the Philippines before there was a Philippines. So before the Spanish people came to the Philippines, they have a sultanate or tribal community in the Philippines. And the known leaders during that time, the more Islamic leaders are Humabon, Magat Salamat, which might be my relative, I don't know, Tupas, so many Islamic leaders are Humabon, Magat Salamat, which in the Philippines. And the known leaders during that time, the more Islamic leaders are Humabon, Magat Salamat, which might be my relative, I don't know, Tupas, so many.
Right? So many. So many. So many different rulers. So many different quote-unquote tribes. But guess what? All of them know their morals. All of them know when it gets down to whatever, we're Moros. Forget all this different stuff that we are. Come it's so easy for them to get it? Oh yeah, because it's been refined to a science on you niggers. And you keep playing games with Moors. Don't even know that you're already in the pot stewing. And we're not stirring. We're just looking because we want to know what you doing in the pot and all that stuff. What are you doing in the pot? Why are you squeezed up in the pot as if you could fit? We're trying to save you here. But it seems like people don't want saving. They want a stew. They want a bubble. How are these people across the world saying the exact same thing that Moors have been telling our people for 100 years? It doesn't matter how many different names we got, we're Moros. Somewhere else. No matter how much different tribes we have, we're Mori. Go somewhere else. No matter how many different last names that sound like Europeans we got, we're Blackamoors. Doesn't matter what religion it is, we're Moors. In North America, well, I'm black. Well, I'm Trinidadian. Well, I'm Tobagonian. Well, I'm Bayesian. Well, I'm South Carolinian. I'm New Yorkian. All these people look the same though. But they're not called one thing. How come those people figured it out and said Moros? Yeah, we're Moros. Before there was the Philippines, we were Moros. Yeah. Before there was a U.S. and Canada, we were Moorish American. Descendants of Moroccans born in America. Because descendant of Moroccan means we're in Morocco. If we're in Morocco, then that means we're indigenous. If we're Moorish, why wouldn't we be if Moorish are Moroccans? But Moorish are also on the other side of the planet. They just say Moro instead of Moroccan.
So many, but they're in our history books.
Okay.
But it's hard to dig some information because most of the written history was during the Spanish period. But I could send you some stuff.
Cool, yeah. Send me that hidden history. Yeah. Appreciate that. Yep. Now it was a lot of heroes too. Like,
yes, but again, they're usually tribes.
okay.
And there was no Philippines yet, so they own a couple of islands and they're very territorial.
Okay.
But the common group that they repelled was the arrival of the Spanish. But when certain tribes accepted them and converted into Christianity, that slowly became the norm.
Oh, the sellout is real, huh? Even over there, the sellout is real. But there was a sellout. So how come they have a sellout and then they still figured stuff out? Well, maybe they did something with their sellouts. Because obviously he knows that some of our people sided with them. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Yeah. Now it was a lot of heroes too. Like,
yes, but again, they're usually tribes.
okay.
And there was no Philippines yet, so they own a couple of islands and they're very territorial.
Okay.
But the common group that they repelled was the arrival of the Spanish. But when certain tribes accepted them and converted into Christianity, that slowly became the norm, unfortunately. So they overpowered the Moors or the Moros.
Okay.
Slowly upward into the entire archipelago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for the history lesson.
No problem.
Yeah.
Two, convince the Indian that he should be patient, that these things take time. Tell him that we're making progress and progress takes time. 3, make him believe that things are being done for his own good. Tell him you're sure that after he has experienced your laws and actions, that he will realize how good they have been. Tell the Indian he has to take a little of the bad in order to enjoy the benefits you are conferring on him. This is how they played our people, because our people love to be played. And remember, this is the Euro and their relationship with the Indians. Has nothing to do with Moors. If these people are claiming that they're Indians, okay, these are them. If they're going with that narrative, that they're tribes and all that, they look just like us, but they're not Moors, they're tribes. Fine. If you're tribes, then we know who you are. You're the ones who sided with them, with the foreigners. Right here they are right here. 4, get some people to do the dirty work. There are always those who will act for you to the disadvantage of their own people. Just give them a little honor and praise. This is generally the function of band council, chiefs, and advisory councils. They have little legal power, but can handle the tough decisions such as welfare, allocation of housing, etc. That's the traders right there. Number 4 on the list. Top 4 things that these people did. Number 4, bring in some traders. Convince some people with little honor and praise. Have them in some seat of power. And that would be the spook. That would be the one who's saying he's for the liberation, posing like Messiah when he's really Judas. And you know them. All of them don't have a nationality. And if they do have a nationality, they're not telling you. They're not letting you know. Consult the Indian. 5, consult the Indian. But do not act on the basis of what you hear. Tell the Indian he has a voice and go through the motions of listening. Then interpret what you have heard to suit your own needs. You have right to remain silent because what? Well, anything you can say would be used against you. Oh, okay. All right. Now, what do these people like to do? Right? What did Jolly say? The red flannel gonna get you in trouble? The only thing that hurts a duck is his bill. Right. Once you're going to them for a consultation, you're their ward. It's all about wardship. It's all about, remember, first thing, make you not a person. They really mean is make you not a natural person. Make you stateless. Because once you're stateless, they win. Because you're not withstanding. Because you have no legs. You're a sponge. Not a human being. Rights don't apply to you. Only wardship applies to you. If you don't want to have a nationality because you think, that's Islamic and all that. You have no idea what you're talking about. And then the ones who are on the side saying that they're the black tribes and the black Cherokee and all that stuff, this is what is going on to you right now. And you can't say no. All you got is what your grandma told you. What are you talking about? You don't have a library of your stuff? Show me some papers from colonial office to validate something. 6, insist that the Indian goes through the proper channels. Make the channels and the procedures so difficult that he won't bother to do anything. When he discovers what the proper channels are and becomes proficient at the procedures, change them. Again, because you're caught up in their stuff all the time. When you have right to self-determination, why are you handling your own affairs? Why are you doing what you want? Like, why are you doing what they want? Go through the proper channels. You reference that to YouTube. Forget TV. And then these channels that make it difficult for you to even find out about your nationality and birthrights. The difficulty it takes for you to find the right group of individuals for you to settle down with so you could focus is only through proper channels. Or your energy is super on point because it was just you and you were just doing whatever, and then righteous Moors just fall in your lap and you'll be all right. But watch out for the channels. Read a book, because too many channels are useless to your liberation. So these channels are 2D. You're supposed to be at 5, 6 right now. 7, make the Indian believe you are working for him, putting in much overtime at great sacrifice, and imply that he should be appreciative. This is the ultimate in skills in stealing human rights, when you obtain the thanks of the victim. When Stockholm Syndrome sets in, know that they got you. When you're so in love with the abuse that you're making up lies for the black eye, that you know he did it, know that it's time to just pack up your stuff and be out and playing games. Right. 8, allow a few individuals to make the grade and point to them as examples. Say that the hard workers and the good Indians have made it, and that therefore it is a person's own fault if he doesn't succeed. And again, you would have to be in the position of stateless to even fall for the make the grade guy. Remember, there, once you're studying and you know, it's harder for them to play you. We're showing you the repetition of their actions is not something that they're not doing to everybody. This stuff is so easy to fix. And it's the ignorance, the self-righteousness of our people, why we fail as a whole. Right? That ego, you worried about some crack or whatever, please. That ego, you know, especially when they think they made the grade and that they're in good, so now they can whatever like that until they bring out the sex tape on them or something like that. Then they become nothing. Find them on the street begging change and all this. And then the sellout never learns. He's still gonna go sell out even after you know that. Well, if you sell out and you go to the other side, you know that they're gonna murder you, because you can't be trusted now. You're a sellout. Why would anybody? But they don't learn. They still go sell out. 9. Appeal to the Indian sense of fairness and tell him that even though things are pretty bad, it is not right for him to make strong protests. Keep the argument going on this form of protest to avoid talking about the real issue. Refuse to deal with him while he is protesting. Take all the fire out of his efforts. Right? Got you going. Had everybody to the line about nationalize. Then they shut the world down. Said, forget this. There's no way. There's no way that it's happening. You know, it was reaching critical mass. This nationality thing, court tied up, all types of madness going on. Just because more started really taking nationality serious. Right? There was too much protest all over the world. People were protesting something. People weren't sitting back like dumb niggers. They were fighting for whatever it is that they thought they deserved as human beings on the planet. Even just saw the thing with doctors in France right now, like, yo, you guys can't do that. What are you talking about? Have to take. So have to take what? What are you talking about? What do you mean have to? Protesting. Right? Working off the shift, going to the picket line, off the shift. Because they're saying something's wrong. Right. Don't be surprised when they lock down again. Make sure you have your 6-9 months stacked up. Share little stuff. Don't forget, we're supposed to pray that we not have to do this thing in the winter time if it gets nuts. So all the way it's summer all year round, people, you should be good. Everybody else get ready before you're made to get ready. 10. Encourage the Indian to take his case to court. This is very expensive takes lots of time and energy and is very safe because laws are stacked up against him. The court's ruling will defeat the Indian's cause, but makes him think he has obtained justice. Doing that right now, aren't they? Right now. Why are the laws stacked up against him? Because the status. And not only the status, but whoever's talking about that's their court, they're also criminal. So of course the odds are against whoever goes in there. Because, like I said, this is very expensive. Why? Because it's a racket. It's expensive because 5,000 retainer. And then you have to pay. People got pension off giving people life and all that stuff that didn't even do what they said. And then what do they do with the Negroes? Remember, because you're supposed to replace an Indian with Negro, black, colored, NOI, and whatever. So what do they do when it comes to courts with the Negroes? What do? They always have their Negro lawyer guy. They always have their guy that they're going to go hire, who's the officer of the court. Always they bring the lawyer guy. It was only Afeni Shakur who said no lawyer. And beat the case. And for 50 other people. (11) Make the Indian believe that things could be worse, and that instead of complaining about the loss of human rights, to be grateful for the rights we have. In fact, convince him that to attempt to regain a right he has lost is likely to jeopardize the rights that he still has. Instead of complaining about the loss of the rights, be grateful for the rights that you have. Right to protest, right to this, right to that, so you could do some black BS. So you could do some Indian Negro BS. Because it's the right. But if it's a right from birth, and you're talking about inheritance, and you're talking about this is something that you're a beneficiary, now you have it, then you have superior claim if you're talking that. It's not supposed to be having to lose the right in order for whatever. The right should already be with you. No one can take it. But they can get you to give it up though, by you claiming that you're something that you're not. Which is what the Indian, tribal, whoever's are making the claim, and all the Negro, black, African, whoever making the claim, all the indigenous whatever is making the claim. Because none of them are tying themselves to a nation, which is going to allow them to have access to the abundance of rights that exist. 12. Set yourself up as the protector of the Indians' human rights, and then you could choose to act only on those violations you wish to act upon. By getting successful on a few minor violations of human rights, you can point to these as examples of your devotion to his cause. The burglar, who is also the doorman, is the perfect combination. The burglar who is the doorman is what our people are up against. Because guarantee you, that burglar that told you $1,500 for a package looked just like you. I bet you it did. I bet you it was some modern European that hit you up for $5,000 for some papers, some process. I bet you it wasn't a European that did it. And what are they doing? Playing protector of your human rights to the point where they're even going to get people to give them power of attorney. That's how much these people are playing slave master when they start playing charge you for packages. (13) Pretend that the reason for the loss of human rights is for some other reason other than the person is Indian. Tell him some of your best friends are Indians, and that his loss of rights is because of his housekeeping, his drinking, his clothing. Same thing they told the Negroes. The same thing they said, hey, come on, buddy, my cousin's black. I'm not racist. Is that the same game they play on them? And then, of course, they're going to say the Negro problem is their problem. But then they don't want to solve their problem. They're looking for somebody else to solve the problem that they should be solving themselves. Which everybody else realized the way to solve the problem is nationalization. Nationalize the land and then nationalize the people. And because this is the Garden of Eden, everybody's waiting for us. Now we only have 10% of our people who want to be themselves, and then 90% trying to find their way. Can't even find them more in certain jurisdictions. Certain jurisdictions you can't find them more. (14) Make the situation more complicated than is necessary. Tell the Indian you will have to take a survey to find out how many other Indians are being discriminated against. Hire a group of professors to make year-long research project. These people know what they're doing, and they do the same stuff over and 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 over. Because our people don't want to realize what it is that Moors are presenting. And they gotta debate and check stuff out. They never even checked back of Doritos before they ate that. We're gonna check out the Moorish thing. I want to check this out and see if this is really. You ever check what's in that hamburger you just ate? You ever check what's in that shot? You ever check what's in your stool? No, you're checking Moors though. You're gonna check to see if this Moorish thing works. Just gonna check, see if this works. You know, because I saw some stuff happening on the news, and I was wondering about the Moorish thing. But you didn't think about anything about that energy drink you just drank or whatever. Now your heart racing because you just drank horse semen. You just drank bull semen. That's why your heart's racing, beating out of your chest. Now you're gonna check on the Moors. You didn't check the ingredients in the energy drink. Oh, you didn't. Oh, you didn't. Oh, okay. Oh, but you're gonna check them more. You're not just gonna go with, you know what I mean? I know what I'm saying. You know, the mechanic, you go to him. You didn't check him to see if he's whatever. The guy said, "Go." Oh yeah, you could use him. Yeah, go ahead. You go there. Okay, so you just went, no checking. All right. Then find out more. Oh yeah, go check that more over there. Yeah, I just gotta see what's up with this, you know. Give me some time. Alright. Take your time. You know, because nothing before its time. Oh, 17. Convince the Indian that the leaders who are most beneficial and powerful are dangerous and not to be trusted. Or simply lock them up on some charge like driving with no lights. Or refuse to listen to the real leaders and spend much time with the weak ones. Keep the people split from their leaders by sowing rumors. Attempt to get the best leaders into high-paying jobs where they have to keep quiet to keep their paycheck coming in. That's going on right now. No, this is how they dealt with the Indian. But we're saying switch it up. Put black there. Put Nwapian there. Put Black Panther there. Put whatever you want there in place of Indian. And realize that it's the same game. Because it's all the same people. And we choose to be the separatists. We don't have a nationality. We want to be separatists. "19. Remove rights so gradually that the people don't realize what has happened until it's too late. Again, in regards to hunting rights, first restrict the geographical area where hunting is permitted. Then cut the season to certain times of year. Then cut the limits down gradually. Then insist on licensing. And then Indians will be on the same grounds as the white sportsmen. That one was hitting because it was right now. In regards to hunting rights, first, restrict the geographical area where hunting is permitted. Right, so assume jurisdiction. Remember, they pass status. They don't care about status. Assume territorial jurisdiction. Right? Geographical area where this hunting is permitted, and then the Indians are going with it. The line, you can't cross the line. Cut the season to certain times of year. Cut the season. Again, playing Mother Nature. Right? Creating seasons and then having people exist in that realm with those seasons as Mother Nature now. That's why everybody's off, and everybody in the winter now, they need a light inside to give them what they're gonna get from the sun. How? What do you mean you have a light inside? Because you can't get it from the sun. Right? Everything's a placebo. It's all is mental. They know that on this realm. So they make you do it to yourself. That's just like they say with the tie the elephant down with the peg. Now you'll just stay there. You see the one with the horse tied onto the plastic chair. Horse just standing there. I wish I could be free. Then cut the limits down gradually. So before you can go roam and game and whatever, now you're encroached into a little part where there's only a certain time that you could be out there, and then when you're out there, you could only catch one thing now, where before you could catch how much ever you catch. Whatever you catch is yours. Then they're gonna blame some ecological whatever. How come it's like that? Remember, all these things are created to suit the colonizers' agenda of control. Own nothing, control everything, including the minds of people. Rely on some reason and logic instead of rightness and morality. Give thousands of reasons for things, but to not get trapped into arguments about what is right. Hold a conference on human rights. Have everyone blow steam and tension and go home feeling things are well at hand. And the whole conference on human rights was all the black Negro lectures and stuff like that. Where everybody goes there, gets amped up. Yeah, we got black power! And then they go outside and go home and nothing. All that energy just nothing. Felt good. We felt good for a sec. Felt good for a sec. It's real easy. It's real easy. Just take notice of the other people classified as minorities, wards, or whatever, stateless. Look at their conditions and overlap those with yours. You'll see it's the same thing. And if they've made it a practice to keep our people in subjugation, and they have this thing refined down to a science, then that's why we could say Noble Drew Ali is the man. That's why we can say it. Because all these 21 things right here, he removed with him getting us to be about nationality. And looking at it from that perspective, opposed to the given perspective that has come from colonial powers. So he said, give Christianity back. That's for them and their salvation. That has nothing to do with us. That has nothing to do with us. Drew Ali was on point telling us that we're Moors. And not playing the game of we're this and we're this and we're that and we're Moors. There was something to that. There was something to that, and it still hasn't been fully digested. You know, because people still looking for a savior, opposed to them saving themselves. But this was on the art of stealing human rights. Extracts from a speech by Gerry Gambill, Gambill. This is a good one. We'll close on this one again. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We know that he's the man. Honors to him. And much love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And honors to all mothers. Supreme honors to all mothers.
Yeah, from the Philippines, and that's Preston glad to see you. Yeah. So I asked him about the Moors in the Philippines, and yeah, could you just tell me about the Moors in the Philippines?
The Moors, or we call them the Moros,
Okay.
are people who are in the Philippines before there was a Philippines. So before the Spanish people came to the Philippines, they have a sultanate or tribal community in the Philippines. And the known leaders during that time, the more Islamic leaders are Humabon, Magat Salamat, which might be my relative, I don't know, Tupas, so many, but they're in our history books.
Okay.
But it's hard to dig some information because most of the written history was during the Spanish period. But I could send you some stuff.
Ooh, yeah, send me that hidden history. Yeah, appreciate that. Yep. Now it was a lot of heroes too. Like,
yes, but again, they're usually tribes.
okay.
And there was no Philippines yet, so they own a couple of islands and they're very territorial.
Okay.
But the common group that they repelled was the arrival of the Spanish. But when certain tribes accepted them and converted into Christianity, that slowly became the norm, unfortunately. So they overpowered the Moors or the Moros.
Okay.
Slowly upward into the entire archipelago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for the history lesson.
No problem.
Yeah.